The moment is finally here, ladies and gentlemen. It's fight week in Abu Dhabi, and this is one of the best cards of the year. You know it's fight week in Abu Dhabi when you see Charles Oliveira walking a lion. When you see fighters taking pictures in front of Burj Khalifa, you know what time it is. Everyone is here. It is crazy. Fighters are here. Not only the fighters that are fighting. Leon Edwards is here. I saw Khamzat Chimaev is here. God damn it, even Tate brothers are here to watch. Everyone is here and ready for fight week. That means it's time for me to drop my final picks for this event. Before I get into it, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to support the channel, and comment and let me know what you think about my video. What's your input? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let's get into the video. There's so many fights, so I won't talk about all of them. I will just talk about the last 4 fights of the night. The first fight is Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Oh my goodness. Mateusz Gamrot, he put on a display of grappling like I've never seen before in the UFC. His fight against Sarukian was absolutely insane. Not only can he strike, but his grappling is one of the most elite in the UFC. He uses it to impose his will on people and they can't do anything about it, which reminds me a lot of Islam Makhachev, who we'll talk about later. On the other side, it's Beneil Dariush, and we saw how technical his grappling is too. He can hold you down and he can dominate you for rounds like he did Tony Ferguson. But on the other side, he's also super tough. You saw how many comebacks he made. We know he's down to throw if there's a fight. In this fight, striking and power definitely goes to Beneil Dariush. However, grappling I would give to Mateusz Gamrot. All things considered, I would give this fight to Mateusz Gamrot for one reason and one reason only, even though the fight is close. This reason is that Beneil Dariush didn't fight in a year and a half. His last fight was against Tony Ferguson, who was already declining, and before that, I don't think an average MMA fan could recognize the names of his opponents. No disrespect to Beneil Dariush. However, Mateusz Gamrot fought 4 times since the time Beneil last fought. And since I do believe in ring rust, and also Gamrot fought such good fighters in the last 4 fights. I mean, very, very tough competition. I would dare to say, even though his competition wasn't as ranked as high as maybe Beneil Dariush competition was, I think he had objectively harder fights for himself, for his style, and he overcame them, he got the wins. So I think he comes into this fight with better mentality. I think he comes into this fight fresher. I think he has less ring rust, and I would give this fight to Mateusz Gamrot. The next fight is Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan. I don't want to make this a long story and drag out the video. Let's be realistic. I believe objectively and realistically Petr Yan is expected to win. He has fought higher levels of competition that Sean O'Malley could ever imagine. His striking is elite. His power is crazy. He fought tougher opponents. He also fought opponents that were much longer than him, like Sean O'Malley is. So this is not new to him. This is not surprise to him. People are saying Sean O'Malley is so long, he will use the distance. So was Corey Sandhagen. Did it matter? So yes, I think Petr Yan realistically wins this. However, don't disregard Sean O'Malley as I've seen people do it. He doesn't have 0% chance. Come on, give the man some respect. Yes, he's not the favorite, and yes, he's not likely to win. However, Sean O'Malley can win this fight. Look, it's a 3-round fight, which works to his advantage. We know Petr Yan sometimes starts real slow, so if Sean O'Malley can go in guns blazing into the first round, he might be able to take away the first round, which would put a lot of pressure on Petr Yan. Because think about it, if you steal the first round, then Yan needs to take both other rounds to win, which puts a lot of pressure, which can cause you to make mistakes, especially against a fighter like Sean O'Malley is. However, still realistically, Petr Yan wins, so don't disregard Sean O'Malley. However, let's be realistic, this is Petr Yan's fight. He will most likely win it because of the competition he has faced, because of his experience, but you never know. This is MMA, you never know what's going to happen, but I go with Petr Yan for this fight. The next fight is Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw. I am expecting a good fight. It might not be an attractive fight, it might not be the fight where they go guns blazing, hitting each other, throw caution out of the window, but I do believe it will be a very, very technical fight. I think TJ Dillashaw will have to defend all the takedowns, because if he gets taken down just once or twice, he might lose the fight. I mean, think about it. Aljamain Sterling took Petr Yan down twice in their last fight. Twice. 2 out of 22 times, which seems really bad. However, those 2 takedowns was all it took for him to win the fight. That is why TJ Dillashaw will have it very, very hard in this fight. I think for him to win, he might have to go up to 100% takedown defense, because he gets taken down once, he loses the round. That is Aljo's game, and it's absolutely crazy. But I'm excited to see TJ Dillashaw. We all have so many questions. He hasn't fought in a long time. He had a comeback fight more than a year and a half ago, I think, against Corey Sandhagen. Everyone was wondering how he'll perform without drugs, and he did well. However, that fight was super close, and the decision was debatable. So there was not a clear answer to what level of a fighter TJ is, even though he did really well. So I think he needs this fight. We all want to see if he can perform to the level which he used to perform back in the day. So I'm excited to see this fight. And even though TJ Dillashaw has the precision and the power to knock out Aljamain Sterling, I think Aljo wins this fight for one reason and one reason only. I think Aljo has already fought strikers which are better than TJ Dillashaw in many other ways. He has beaten Petr Yan, who I think strikes better than TJ Dillashaw. Petr Yan has more power, more precise, more technique, and still, Aljo managed to find a way. Aljo fought Corey Sandhagen, managed to take him down, submit him. I think Aljo is not new to this. Aljo has fought fighters like this, and he always managed to find a way. So I think if TJ Dillashaw managed to knock him out, that's the only way he wins. I think TJ Dillashaw only wins by knockout. Any other outcome, it's Aljo's fight. Submission, decision, anything else. It is Aljo's fight any other way. Of course, don't get me wrong, it's not that TJ Dillashaw doesn't have a chance. Everyone does. He does. He can knock him out. It can be a realistic result. However, man, if Aljamain Sterling shoots for 200 takedowns and gets 2 of them, you know what I mean? He still wins this fight, which is super weird, but that's how the rules are, that's how wrestling is, and that's why I go with Aljo. And finally, the last fight of the night, the fight that we're all waiting for, as Bruce Buffer would say, of course. It is Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira lightweight title fight. Whoever watched my previous video on this fight knows that I have very strong opinions about it. I mean, this is as close as it gets, if you ask me. This is as close as it gets to a coin flip fight. It is much closer than people think. You have Islam Makhachev fans saying, oh, Islam will take him down and smash him. Then you have Charles Oliveira fans who are saying, oh, Charles will knock out Islam. Islam doesn't have a chin, blah blah. Guys, relax. It's a very close fight. It's not that easy. And I will tell you what I think about it now. On the side of Islam Makhachev, there is his unprecedented grappling skills. This is absolutely insane. He dominates people, he takes them down, he imposes his will on people, and they cannot do anything about it but play his game and lose. And considering that Kevin Lee almost out-grappled Charles Oliveira and gassed him out with grappling. I mean, if Kevin Lee could do that to Charles Oliveira, then tell me, what can Islam Makhachev do? And as he said, he won't be scared to follow Charles down on the ground into his guard like all the other fighters were. However, on the other side, you have Charles Oliveira. Man, his striking became so elite. I could not even believe it. He's one of the most precise, crisp strikers that you will ever see in the UFC. I mean, look at how he hit Michael Chandler with the left hook. That left hook is as crisp as it gets. He left no space, no unnecessary movements. The same way he hit Justin Gaethje. Did you see that cross? Again, no unnecessary movements from point A to point B directly to the chin. That man evolved his striking so much, it is absolutely unprecedented in the UFC. He came in as a grappler, as a jiu-jitsu specialist, and he is one of the only people I have ever seen that have this successfully merged two styles, like grappling, jiu-jitsu, and striking. Usually, of course, fighters know everything, but their styles just don't work together, right? They're usually very heavy on one side. Like Islam is very heavy on grappling. I don't know, McGregor is very heavy on striking, even though he's great at jiu-jitsu, right? But man, Charles Oliveira, I can't believe how he has merged these styles. We don't see this that often in the UFC. And then his ground game is pretty damn good. I mean, there is a reason why all the fighters didn't want to go to the ground with him, even though they knocked him down. Think about this. He has 21 submissions in his career, and I think only 4 of those came from his own takedown. So only 4 out of 21 submissions came after he took someone down. So it was always usually that someone else took him down or someone else knocked him down, and then he submits them for the majority of his submission, which tells you a lot about his style. And it tells you a lot about what you have to be careful of when you fight Charles Oliveira. So because of all the things I've said, I still think it's a very, very close fight. Islam Makhachev can take him down, hold him down, go off on ground and pound on him, submission attempts, control him and win the fight. On the other side, Charles Oliveira has crisp and powerful striking. Even Justin Gaethje, the most hardest striker in the UFC, said he has never felt the power like Charles Oliveira has. And coupled with his jiu-jitsu game, I mean, this makes a very, very, very close fight. More close than any fans of both guys want to admit. So even if it's this close, I think my final pick is Charles Oliveira for one reason and one reason only. And that reason is that if I couldn't decide who the winner is by skill, because their skills are so tight and close, I decided by previous experience. Let's be objective here. I don't know why people get so mad when I say this. Charles Oliveira faced objectively better and tougher competition in his UFC career. I'm not saying Islam was taking easy fights. Maybe everyone was dodging him, maybe that was the case. However, still the objective fact is the Charles Oliveira competition was high level competition. It was competition that Islam Makhachev objectively hasn't seen in the UFC. Oliveira beat Justin Gaethje, which was one of the hardest challenges for him because Oliveira can get hit and Gaethje hits, and he still went through that challenge. Same with Dustin Poirier, same with Michael Chandler. He had all the challenges, everything was against him. He was tested in ways in which Islam Makhachev was never tested before, and Charles Oliveira passed those tests. And that is the reason why I give him this fight, because I can't decide by pure skill, I have to decide by experience, and I have to decide by what they went through. And yes, Charles Oliveira lost, fair enough, he tapped a few times, but look, he also did some amazing things, and those amazing things, in my opinion, can make him win this fight. So overall, my final picks are Mateusz Gamrot, Piotr Jan, Aljamain Sterling, and Charles Oliveira. Again, I don't think the odds are that good. A lot of these fights are close, so I wouldn't bet on them, but those are my picks. Please let me know in the comments, do you agree with my picks? Do you not agree? I respect every opinion. I'll try to reply to every single one of your comments. Drop the like to support the channel, subscribe to support the channel. See you soon in another video. Peace.